Continuing with the Module Change Series, we are looking at Kamen Rider Fourze's Elek States. And I know at this point I'm probably going to get completely sucked into this line, so for anyone who's going to ask, I will probably be reviewing all of them at some point. Second one in the series, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of similarities to the one I've already reviewed, the base states, so if I get repetitive, I apologize. But then again, when he's got such similar details, it's hard to avoid it. Main change, of course, is this nice shade of this metallic yellow plastic, not quite gold, and not quite the brown I've seen some photos capture it as. It's molded in this color, but it's not the type of gold plastic you should worry about. Very, very few swirls in it that will cause it to break down over time. No, it's actually a really, really nice shade of metallic yellow that my camera probably can't capture correctly. I don't know, it is still quite nice. I mean, you can see there are a few parts retained, just like in the show. The legs are still the exact same from the base states, as is the left arm. And we'll get into molding details in a bit, but right now, just sticking to the colors, you can see the belt, just like base states, solid metallic blue. And in the eyes, in the head, oh yeah, the lightning bolt's a little distracting. It's way brighter. The eyes I really like, though. Once again, segmented eyes with translucent lenses, looking very nice. Now, I guess at this point we get into detailing, don't we? You can see a few things have changed here on the head, not many though. A little bit more of an electrical, a bit more wiring detail here in the side fins. The big change, of course, is, I guess these are turbines of some kind? I'm not an electrician. I have no idea. But these little tire-looking details are all the way across and on the shoulders and on the back, just like in the show, so good there, digging it. Now these are soft plastic, and if you can get it, they're not exactly attached. They kind of float there, which is good, so in case you just suddenly, drop it, or if you push the arm up like that, you're not going to break anything, which is a nice little attention to detail on Bandai's part. What really impressed me here is they actually did remember to mold in an activated Elek switch instead of the rocket switch. The others are still the three generic ones, the launcher, drill, radar. But that's a little odd because he doesn't come with those. Minor detail, minor nitpick, moving on. Still, legs exactly the same, pretty much, just painted differently. The X, the triangle, the feet, little rocket style designs to him. The arm is exactly the same way too. So detail wise, pretty much the same aside from a few additions. You can definitely see where the coloring comes into play. What looks like the old Power Ranger logo here on the chest. You can see a lot of the black has been replaced with the gold as well. The striping that was orange does continue all the way down the side, so you can see where the original design is retained on this form. Like, overall, there's not much to say. It does look a lot like base states, and, well, for good reason. And just in case you didn't see the base states review, I will go into the articulation in better detail here, starting at the head again. Just like the Fourze base states, he does have a forward and back motion to the head, which does allow him to get a wider range of poses looking up and down. Aside from the fact he does have a fully articulated neck. Shoulders, universal, bicep swivel, 90-degree elbow, wrists, and 2 joints in the hands, so his focus. There we go. There you can see the 2 pieces that make up the 4 fingers. Now, we already looked at the belt, so I'll tell you waist joint. Works all the way around, despite the bulk of the belt. That's nice. The hips, fully ball jointed. Rotation just above the knee, 90-degree knee. Tilt in the ankle going sideways, going back and forth. And a rotation. Very, very nice. As I said in the base states review, and this is what's getting repetitive, is me referring to my previous review. Very little of this is different from how a Figuart is articulated. There's not quite as much range of motion in the elbows and knees, but you can get a fair range of motion out of this figure. Considering it's the budget line, the air quote cheap line, it is still really impressive. There's a lot to get out of this figure on a function level. But we can also add more function to him with accessory parts, like Billy the Rod. Just like in the show, you can see a lot of the different molded details here are represented accurately. There's the 3 plugs for his 3 different styles of attacks. Going up, the rod itself, a lot of the little molded details you can see right there. No light painting, so you can pretty much imagine this to do whatever you want it to do. Gold tip. Also tell you that, yeah, like most sword toys these days, it's very soft, bendy plastic. The safety plastic, ooh, I loathe you, though. This one, I will say, is actually packed well enough to not be bent right out of the box. So, there you go. You can see all the little switches and dials up here, all the little molding, a little bit of paint here on the handle, and the plug. The plug does not come off, so you're pretty much stuck with it looking like this. Not a big deal, and I'm glad they included the effect. This is actually where the rubbery plastic actually tends to be more realistic. But, you know, it is the rod weapon. Not much paint on it, but, you know, it still works. It still looks exactly how it's supposed to look. Fits right there in the right arm, which is the only real part that changed on Fourze besides the chest. I'm not sure what that is. Again, I am no electrician. I cannot tell. I'm sure it is based on something, and somebody will correct me on the comments for being a moron. But he holds it pretty well. It's sized correctly, so yeah. No real complaints. It is what it is. It's a rod. It's a rod of electricity. It's a cattle prod. That's what it is. More importantly, this is the Module Change Series, so of course we have to play with the modules it comes with. And the main one it comes with, or at least my favorite one, it comes with the Chainsaw Module. I love this thing. One thing I like about the modules in this one, they all have a little bit of function to them. This one, of course, the blade does fold out. You can see the X detail there telling you where it goes. And back to normal positioning. Slides right on. Again, if you didn't see the base states, these slide on and lock into place. I thought they plugged on. Turns out, no, they don't. And he stands fine with it. Does not hinder anything at all. You can get some pretty good poses out of this. If you have a stand, you can actually have him kicking with it and whatnot. Doesn't have enough bounce to stand on one foot, though few toys actually do. Moving on, we'll move to the other arm, which has one of the larger ones so far, camera. Now the action feature on this one is a little bit simple, but it makes sense. The viewfinder, fully adjustable. Move it up, down, fold it in, fold that, rotation. I like that. So you can line it up to wherever your Fourze figure happens to be looking. And by the way, they're all molded in pink plastic and then painted over. I suppose that's cheaper than having multiple plastics involved here. But, you know, it is the camera. That's pretty much all it can be, so there you go. Back down to the lower leg, the triangle. For the final one, hopping. Big pogo stick. Well, not that big, it only fits on one leg, but still, you get my point. It is a big pink pogo stick that fits onto his left leg, as shown. It's a little bit trickier this time. You actually have to kind of trick his foot into sliding in, or else it doesn't quite go. As you saw there, it failed miserably. There's hopping correctly attached. Action feature, this one, spring-loaded. That is so pointless, and I freaking love it. He can bounce around like a Tigger all day. I'm just going to keep doing this. I kind of find this fun. I'm sorry. I know this has nothing to do with reviewing the toy, but the only catch to this one is, just like Drill, he can stand with it attached. He can kind of Captain Morgan this one. However, because of that springing gimmick, it is a little bit harder to get him to stand up, even though this seems significantly easier than Drill was in my last video. Oh boy, I should really think about what I say before I say it. Still, I do enjoy this. I do love I do love how fun these three are, since all of them do a little bit more than just attach to a limb and stay there. And of course, since this is the Module Change Series, Fourze's base states can use all three of these as well, and quite effectively, especially since in the show, that's where we saw him use these most often, especially the hopping switch. In fact, I can't remember ever seeing it on any other form. And likewise, the ones from base states can also attach on just as easily. They all have the exact same gimmick, and they can all enjoy the exact same accessories. So the more of these you get, the more accessories they all have. And I love any toy line that improves all the previous figures just by purchasing the newest one. And there's good news about this line. As it turns out, they are going to make all the modules available at some point. The final figure in this series is an SP release, a base states Fourze in clear plastic with every single unreleased module. So not only are these running a little bit cheaper than Figuarts right now, they all come with more modules, and you will not be left out in the cold because every single module will come out for this series too. So if you're cost effective and the lower level of articulation and detail doesn't bother you, I'd say these are fine replacements. I mean, they're great for the budget conscious, so that's really where the appeal of these lie in. Aside from the fact that they're just really nice toys on their own anyway. As usual, mine came from HobbyLink Japan, which is a good place to get these right now. As of this video, all three of the main states are available, and all the others will be released there. But I guess this means I have to review Fire at some state too. Well, I've got to figure out some way of making a fireman funny. I'll get back to you on that one.